What's up, you guys? So I've been playing around with this recipe, trying to get the perfect consistency every time that I make it. So I looked around online, and almost all the recipes that I found, or actually all the recipes that I found, the ingredients they use are sugar, lemon juice, and water. So I'll still be using sugar and water, of course, but I'm actually going to be substituting the lemon juice with another ingredient that I think just works out a whole lot much better, and gives the better consistency. So when you make sugar wax, this is actually what you want it to look like once after you stretch it out in your hand. You kind of want it to have that bright gold color, and you don't want it to stick to your hand. I'll show you later when you use it what it will look like. But so anyway, so for the lemon juice, instead of lemon juice, I'm actually going to be using citric acid. And is I'm going to be using a food grade citric acid. It's extracted from or it's made from lemon or lime. And it's typically used in bath bomb and candy. So this is perfectly safe, and is food grade. So I'll put the link down below to it, and that's what I'm going to be using. So I have my measurements in actually in grams, but I put it on teaspoon and cups if you want to use that. Sugar, half a cup, 1 teaspoon, not tablespoon, and then water, 1/4 cup, and that should give you the same consistency that I'll be getting using the grams. So I'm gonna be measuring my sugar, and I'm gonna be measuring 70 grams of sugar. um I kind of went a little bit above, but I made a little mess and I sprinkled on the side, so I didn't really take it off. So it's not gonna make that much of a difference. So 70 grams of sugar. And then next I'm gonna be measuring my citric acid, and I'm going to be using 5 grams of citric acid. You really don't need that much because it's really concentrated, and it will actually give you a much better result than using the lemon juice. For whatever reason, I don't know why, every time I use lemon juice, it will just turn out to be, even using the same volume, it will still give me different consistency. But uh but using citric acid, I think it just works way better. So give it a shot and see how that works. Next, I'm going to be measuring water, and I'm using distilled water. You don't have to use distilled water. I just really want this recipe to be perfect. So I'm using distilled water. I'm going to be using 47 grams of water. So with the measuring cups, you can use 1/4 of a cup, and that should give you the same consistency. So I'm going to be just combining all my ingredients together in a pan, and I'll add my water, and then I'll set the heat to medium. You don't want to set the heat too high because it will boil up really quick and it's going to burn. So set it up to medium. It's going to take a while to like heat up. Well, depending on the type of pan that or pot that you're using. Mine has a really thick, the bottom is like really thick, so it takes a little bit while to heat up. But so that's what I'll do. I'll just stir it. I set it up to medium. I think in total it took me about maybe like 10 minutes to get this done. It's a small quantity. If you want a larger quantity, just go ahead and multiply that by whatever, if you want 3 times more or 4 times more, just go ahead and multiply that by the measurements that I put at the beginning. So yeah, I'll just continue to let this boil. And I'll keep an eye on it. I'm not going to step away from it because it can happen really quickly. I mean, every appliance is different. So, some heat up faster than others. So I'm just going to wait for it. And I keep stirring it to just kind of see the color under the bubbles because I'm not really going to be able to see it. So I keep moving it around to kind of look for the color that I really need. So now it's getting close. It has that bright gold color. I'll just keep stirring it around. Probably be about another minute and a half, and we'll get there. And at this point, I went ahead and I turned the heat down to medium low because it's getting really close, and I don't want it to burn. I don't want it to brown real quickly because I wanted a really nice kind of goldish reddish color. So here we're getting really, really close. So once it's done, I'm actually not gonna just turn the heat and leave it on. I'll actually move it, and then just let it cool down a little bit slow. Those bubbles are gonna go away. And if you want to keep it in a container, you don't want to leave it on the pot until it becomes solid, because then it will be harder for you to transfer. So at this point, if you want to keep it in a jar, just let it cool down a little bit, and then move it to whatever container that you want to keep it on. Or actually, yeah, I think that would probably be a much better option if you want to do that. So I let mine cool down a little bit, and now you can see the color's really beautiful, and that's the color that you're looking for. So I'll let this sit for a minute to cool down, and then we'll come back and work with it. So once it cooled down and you pick it up in your hand, immediately once you start to move it around, play around with it in your hand, it will start to have that bright gold color. So what I'll do, I'll just hold it between my fingers and I will use both my hands to just kind of stretch it out real quickly. And you know, that will make it, you're really looking for a nice bright gold color. And that's when, at that point, that's when we're gonna start to use it. So it's probably gonna be a little bit stiff, you know, just like this. So what I'm going to be doing is wet my hand with some cold water. You do want to keep a cold water next to you, because what happens is when you're moving your hands like this, stretching it out, your hands tend to get warm, and that can make the sugar wax melt when you're actually waxing your the hair off. So what you want to do is you want to keep a cold water next to you, and then every time it gets you kind of feel it starting to melt in your hand, just dip your hands in the cold water, cool your hands down, and then keep a towel next to you, dry your hands, and then start working with it again. And that will make sure you know, that way it's not going to melt. Especially if you know, if where you are is warm, or the house is warm. So you just want to make sure that your hands are nice and cool when you're working with it. So here it's a little stiff this way, so I'll get some ice water, I'll dip my finger in there, and then I'll just continue to do this for another couple of minutes, and it should be like ready. I'll be ready to use it after that. So it's really ready at this point. So here I did get the water, I just dipped my hand in water, and you see it's kind of much nicer, much softer. Well, actually it looks like it's still a little hard, but it did pull the hair off, you can see it, but I do need a little bit more water to make it easier to work with. So there you go. So what you want to do is you just kind of want to stretch it out across your skin, and then just flick it real quick. I mean, it's easier to do this on the opposite side of the hair growth, but I'm doing my leg, so I'm like it's hard to do that. If I was doing this for someone else or my hands, I might be able to do that, but it's harder to do it the opposite side, so I'm just doing it, you know. My hair grows downwards, so that's what I'm doing. But yeah, so you just basically just pull it with your four fingers, and then you just flick it real quick. And actually my skin is a little dry, I haven't exfoliated in a little bit, so what this will help to do also is just kind of it will take that dead skin off with it. So I'll just continue to do this for a few minutes, and you know, it should be done.